It's barely 40 days to election 2016. The stakes are high. On Politicos, we've been tracking the event. Someone or some group of people who have been tracking the debate for us more are the organizers of the presidential debates in this country. Since 2000, the IEA has organized a number of presidential debates prior to elections, and most of them have turned out well. This time around, though, doesn't appear as if we are going to see a presidential debate. Or are we? That is the question on Politicos here. With me, Nana Addo. The IEA, the Institute of Economic Affairs in Ghana, is the institution we know that has organized presidential debates over the years. This time around, it appears things are not working well. We'll be finding out what the issues are, because my guest on Politicos is Mrs. Jean Mensah, and she joins me. You're welcome to Politicos.
Thank you.
It's nice meeting you. You're just returning from the United States, where you went to watch a debate, we hear?
Yes.
How was the experience getting close to Donald Trump and Hillary?
It was actually quite interesting, and it was the final debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I must say I was quite nervous, because if you followed the media discussions during that time, it was as if Donald Trump had let his guard down and he was going to go all out. So we were expecting that he would really sling and throw the mud. And so I felt quite nervous.
Talking of which, you were invited there because you are organizing presidential debates in Ghana since 2000. It's 40 days or so to election 2016. We still haven't had our first presidential debate. We have seen the evening encounters. Even that has not been fulfilled. What's happening?
Well, this year is a little bit of a challenge, I must say. We are facing a few challenges, but it's important to also emphasize that in 2012, the debates were held in November. And so we are not out of schedule, so to speak.
Not totally out of schedule.
Not totally out of schedule at all. In 2012, I don't think it was never an issue to hold the debates and two presidential debates and the vice presidential debate in November. Indeed, all three debates were held in the month of November. The final debate in Accra was held on the 20th of November, whereas this time the final debate has been slated in Accra has been slated for the 22nd. And so we are really within schedule, and there was not an issue. It's important to also mention that the IEA started engaging with the political parties as far back as in May, when it outdoored its election program. And so letters providing information on the debates and the program were sent out to the presidential candidates and the political parties as far back as in May. And we've had some discussions with a number of the political parties as well. So it's important that we raise the impression that it's as though it's in November when notification has been provided. 7 months ago, the parties were provided with information regularly. And to date, I believe that each party has received over 8 letters from us, providing them with progress, information on arrangements, and so on. But we are on course. We are fully on the ground. We are implementing our program and our plans, and we don't have any challenge at all with the debates in November.
You are optimistic about the debates, but prior to the debates, you do what you call the evening encounters. I have seen a number of them with the CPP, I have seen the PNC, I have seen Nana Addo, not particularly an evening encounter, but Nana Addo, the opposition leader, was billed also to have a presidential or evening encounter with the IEA. That has not happened. It has been postponed a number of times. What is going wrong?
Well, as I mentioned, or as we've mentioned, we've been ready. This is something that we've organized, over the last 16 years, since 2000. And this would be the 5th time that the IEA is hosting presidential debates. Indeed, the evening encounters were introduced in 2008 to afford the candidate an opportunity to have a sole platform to present his vision for governing this country. And the interesting thing, or the novel thing about the evening encounter, was that he engaged directly with the cross-section of the public. And so key representatives of various interest groups were invited to the encounter, and they posed questions to him. The IEA had nothing whatsoever to do with the questions. These were responsible representatives, and we believed that they would pose questions that were of importance to the constituency that they represented. And we've done this since 2008. Unfortunately, we were prepared for the evening encounters with Honorable Nana Addo. But the information we received from his campaign team was that he wanted to launch his manifesto. Thankfully, the manifesto has been launched. However, and there are discussions around, the possibility of organizing an evening encounter for him. But the first debate will take place on the 8th of November, and it leaves us with very, very little room to host the encounter. We are not sure, if the candidate will be able to, address both the encounter and the debate. But we are working with his team to come up with some, agreements, and we are hopeful that by Monday we should be able to have a firm commitment or some firm agreements as to, his participation in the encounters.
You started announcing this since May, which means you have a schedule that you are working with. The MPP definitely must have a schedule. If they wanted to do it after the manifesto launch, which happened somewhere mid-October, we are towards the end of October, and you still are not certain as to whether there will be an evening encounter or not. It means someone is clearly not working with a schedule, either your side or the MPP side.
Well, interesting. As I mentioned, we have a technical team here. This is the fifth time we are organizing these debates, and we are more than prepared. If the debates had to be held tomorrow, Mary, I can assure you that we would put up very successful debates that are at par to, international debates and at par to debates that we've seen, in the US and in the UK and so on.
Are you throwing an open challenge to Nana Addo to appear for the evening encounters?
Of course, we cannot challenge him, and I believe that the party has their schedule, although we had provided adequate, timely information. But I think the good people of Ghana would really want to engage with him and, have that one-on-one interaction where he would delve deeper into the issues and provide his vision for governing this country. So from the IEA side, we are not challenging him at all. But I believe that from the calls that we receive, from the daily visits that we get, from the emails that come to us on a daily basis, the country and the citizens are clamoring for their leaders and candidates of political parties to tell them what they have in store for them. Because it does make a difference. The ordinary man on the street is concerned. They want to know what each of the candidates stands for, their policy direction for this country, to enable them make an informed choice on election day. For instance, my watchman at home, he has 2 boys who are ready to go to secondary school. And in 2012, one of the promises was free education for high school. He's anxious to know that, is that still on the table? Is NHIS, free registration and access to healthcare, is that still on the table? These issues matter to the ordinary people, and I think that our flag bearers and our candidates owe it to the good people of Ghana to tell them exactly how they plan to govern this country and the policies and programs that they have in store for them.
The evening encounter, in particular the one with Nana Addo, has been scheduled a number of times, I think twice or so. President of Omane Ghana, a gentleman who understudied from the IEA here, told me on the big issue on Citi FM that it cost you money having to reschedule a number of times because you hired the Mervyn Peak Ambassadors Hotel, and on more than one occasion you were left with the option of either giving the food out for free because Mervyn Peak will not reimburse you. Is this true?
Well, it would surely cost money for any event that is, that is cancelled. Of course, I don't want to go into the details of it, but it will surely, if you cancel an event where you've planned for, it will cost you money.
Did you lose money by postponing the evening encounter with Nana Addo?
So long as the encounters don't come on, I can say that we will lose money.
But you haven't lost money?
Well, we've lost some money. You've printed cards. You've had to print cards 2 times and that sort of thing. You've done some legwork and put in place modalities. So you do lose some money, definitely.
How about the failure or the refusal of the NDC to participate, and for that matter, the sitting president to appear on your debate? How has that challenged this year's debate?
As we speak, we haven't had any letter informing us that the sitting president will not participate in the debate. Indeed, we haven't had any letter from any quarters informing us that the flag bearer of the 4 parties would not participate in the debate.
They have said on radio that the NDC is not going to take part. The national organizer, at least on record, Kofi Adams, are saying that the NDC was not going to field their candidate at your debates. And you went ahead to announce the schedule for the evening encounters without John Mahama on the list.
We did so because we had invited the parties to a ballot here for the evening encounters and had provided adequate notice. And all the three other parties, the MPP, the PNC, and the CPP, sent their representatives to take part in the ballot. It meant, of course, that they had confirmed their participation. And so the schedule that we put out was for the three parties in Parliament because they had participated in the ballot and they had been given places on the ballot. However, even with the evening encounters, we haven't heard or we haven't received any letter indicating that the president would not participate. Indeed, we've received some letters from the presidency advising us to start discussing modalities around the presidential debates. Unfortunately, those meetings have not happened. But if there should be anything, I believe that if the president didn't want to participate in the debates, he would say so from the word go.
He has recently thrown a challenge to debate Nana Addo. Is that something the IEA would be interested in setting up?
Well, we need to discuss that. I know that when the IEA launched this program, for the election program early this year, we had, based on feedback we received from the general public in 2012, proposed and put out a suggestion that we would indeed have 2 presidential debates for all the 4 candidates and 1 vice presidential debate. But in addition, in response to the demand from the public, because we had done interviews after the 2012 debates, and the public was demanding that, in addition to what we are doing, why don't you have a debate between the parties that have the most seats in Parliament? We had put that out. And I know that the parties, particularly the NDC, had not taken kindly to that proposal. So it's something we put on the shelf because we work with them, and we work with all of them, and it must be of interest to them.
So you would want to set up this debate, but you do not think that it would be accepted across the board. So you had not written a letter.
We had wanted to, so we haven't pursued it. We had wanted to, and it was a proposal. So we thought that we would start those discussions, but it was shut down, and therefore it's not something that we have planned. But if it becomes necessary and the parties agree to it, it's not something we cannot do. It's something that we can pick up and do successfully.
Do you regret how things are happening in 2016 as far as the presidential encounters and debates is concerned?
I feel sad for Ghana because I thought that we had come a long way. I thought that the debates had been crystallized and had become part of our election calendar. But I really do feel sad for this country because the very blocks that we have put in place as a nation, and all of us stakeholders, civil society, policy makers, the media, we've put together some building blocks. It seems as if we are eroding those blocks and chipping away at those blocks. And for me, I find it very sad and unfortunate.
Who do you blame for this sadness?
Maybe we are all to blame. Maybe we should be more vocal, and we should ensure that things that have been institutionalized, good programs that would consolidate and help strengthen our democracy, are kept.
Shouldn't the IEA take the blame for being accused of bias?
By who? And bias for who?
By the governing party. They have accused you of being biased, and for that matter, they found your platform not credible enough, and that's how come they have not appeared.
I don't think so at all. I don't believe that those allegations can be substantiated. I believe that if the platform was biased, as I hear some politicians say in the media, then I believe that President Kufuor in 2004 should have come for the debates. Because if you are biased and you are on the same line as a political party and you have those leanings, then it should be an open place for them to come. I think that the fact that we're having these challenges, even with the participation of the flag bearer of the MPP, shows that the IEA is indeed a credible organization, and that the platform it offers is an objective, credible platform that has been tried and tested.
Finally, give me a date on which we are going to see a presidential debate for 2016.
Well, the first debate is slated for Tamale. It's coming off at the Radash Hotel on the 8th of November. The second is the vice presidential debate which comes off at the Best Western Hotel in Takoradi and is slated for the 15th of November. The third debate, which is the final presidential debate, would come off in Accra, and that has been slated for the 22nd of November.
Which candidates have you confirmed for these debates?
As I said, none of the candidates have declined their participation.
But none has accepted.
Oh,
either.
well, with the CPP and the PNC, they sent in letters, long ago. By the MPP accepting to come on the platform for the evening encounters, you would believe that they find that this is a suitable, credible platform that they can, put out their vision and engage with the citizenry. Unfortunately, although we haven't received a firm confirmation from the President's office, we've received letters from his office, asking us to initiate modalities, start discussing modalities with his team.
How recent was these letters?
Well, quite recently. I think the last one was towards the end of, must have been last month or so.
And they wanted you to come and organize a debate? And
they want us to start discussions.
Which means the President is willing or
otherwise, why would we start discussions?
Who signed these letters?
The Secretary to the President.
He wrote this letter addressed to you at the IEA, asking you to open discussions with the President.
Well, not with the President, but with the Minister for Communications.
Have you done this?
Well, we've tried to, but I believe that the Minister, it's not been possible, and I take it that he's been busy, but we're still working on it. We've initiated some discussions with the party, at the party level, and we believe that those discussions will be successful.
Do you think Dr. Omane Boamah, the Minister for Communication, is preventing this debate from taking place?
I don't have reason to believe so. I believe that, he knows what the debates have done for his political party.
If the President's Secretary wrote a letter, he should have responded or accepted to listen to you by now, no?
Well, he hasn't. But I believe that he knows the importance of these debates. He knows really that this is the only platform that allows the candidates to, address the questions of the citizenry. Mind you, we've received over 1,000 questions to date, and these questions are coming from ordinary citizens.
How difficult has it been reaching the Communications Minister, who has been given the permission or the authority to have discussions with you?
Well, it has not been possible, so it shows that there's a difficulty, because we don't rest on our laurels here.
Have you written to him?
Yes, we've written to him.
Have you called his phone?
No, we don't have his number. We go through the medium of writing letters with the hope that those letters are received. Of course, we have, people who come back with feedback that letters have been received. But we believe that, our discussions with the party are good enough, and we've initiated.
And you mean the NDC party?
The NDC party.
Who did you speak to?
We met with a few of them. I wasn't here at the time, but I know that the IEA staff and some of the members of the Presidential Debates Committee have started discussions.
It means you still have hope that the NDC's John Mahama would be on your platform?
Yes. Otherwise, they should have written to us 7 months ago to tell us. I know that in 2012, when we launched our program, we got a letter the next day. When we did a launch here, we got a letter from the late Professor Mills, and it was to the effect that, sitting presidents don't participate in the debate. At least we were told at the time, but the fact that we have not been told shows that there's room.
You're on my platform. Can you use this opportunity to reach out to the Communications Minister?
Hi, Dr. Omane Boamah. We know you're very busy and you have a full schedule ahead of you, but we also know that these debates are very important building blocks in our democracy and will provide the flag bearer of the NDC, His Excellency, President Mahama, to articulate his vision and answer questions from the electorate. We know that these debates help the electorate to make an informed choice on election day. So we'd like to urge you to create the avenue for that discussion. The discussions are already ongoing with your party, but we'd like to encourage you to create, to make those things possible and to convince your flag bearer, His Excellency the President, to attend and participate in those debates.
I'm sure Dr. Omane Boamah, the Minister for Communication, is listening to us, and I appreciate your time. Mrs. Jean Mensah, she's the Executive Director of IEA. Well, that's how we end today's edition of Politicos here on Citi TV with me, Umaru Sanda Amadu. Do join us again same time next week as we count down to election 2016.